the slightest mistake is at 200 kilometres an hour and you're in the fence.
How good is quality on a Friday afternoon, man? It's at the right time of day where the track cools off, bit of cloud cover, it starts to get really fast.
I did want to say this after, it's slightly controversial, might upset some people in the comments that just keep demanding that young drivers replace the older ones.
Oh no! He's in the fence! The boat's in the fence! They're all in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
Go on, you go.
Sound check.
Sound check. That one sounded empty, actually.
Cheers, little ears.
Cheers, mate. What are we back in the studio for tonight, Barbs? What are we doing?
We've got the Bathurst 1000 pre-brief.
The big one.
The Great Dance.
1,000 kilometres. 161 lapper. It's the second round of the Enduro Cup. The final round of the Enduro Cup, unfortunately.
Isn't that a shame? One more at Goldie would just really set it off, I think.
Imagine if we could have had Sandown, the Bend, Bathurst, Gold Coast. Imagine 4 in like an 18-round championship.
Yeah. Sandown's such a great race for it.
Yep. There's so many different things we could do with this. But anyway, we can't tonight.
We're talking about Bathurst anyway.
We can't fix all the world's problems, but we are here to preview the Bathurst 1000, which is my favourite event, definitely this year, because I'm only doing 2, and the Bend is great, but Bathurst is Bathurst. We're recording this the week prior. We'll put this out the week of. We've got our lucky Patreon members, though, that are watching it live tonight. So they're getting in nice and early. So if we do reference names, I always mention it, but I just don't want a new listener to our show to wonder who we're talking about when we mention names. They are our guests that are in the chat with us here on Patreon.
Our hunters, as we call them. Bathurst, mate, 161 laps. This year, though, it's going to be a sprint race, they're saying.
Yeah, I just had our pre-brief today, actually, with Triple Eight, and one of the big points was this is a sprint race, and think of it like a sprint race, because the way the fuel is, the stint lengths, we're not really going to be saving that much fuel throughout the day. So I think it's going to be about going fast, being aggressive. I mean, everyone's always going to end up pitting within a couple laps of each other. It's just what happens based on tank size and everything. But it is going to be, I think, a cheeky undercut here and there is what people will go for. But usually with the Bathurst 1000, you kind of, if you can't get past someone, you'll fuel save because you're expecting a safety car at some point. I think we're probably going to jinx it tonight, and there might be bloody 10 safety cars. But the way things have been looking last year, the Bend was a good case study, and then going to Bathurst now, the likelihood of safety cars is probably quite low. So I think
do you think
racing
that's
aggressively
still with the fact that everyone's going to have to push every lap now, mate, that it's still low at a place like Bathurst? Do you think that mental fatigue, or because the Bend, there's heaps of runoff, there's not many gravel traps, so that's why when people did make mistakes, there was no safety car required. Do you think still with a place like Bathurst being predominantly a street circuit and not a lot of runoff in some sections that it'll run green? Now that everyone has to push the whole time, there's no cruising anymore. Yeah,
I think so. I think it's a good point. There's probably not going to be a lot of mechanical failures or anything. I think the cars are all the cars are pretty new and strong. So I don't think we'll see mechanical failures there, even though we are going to be pushing the cars harder. And I think that's probably comes back to as well, things aren't designed to be light and not last anymore. They're a controlled part. Everyone has the same thing. No one's able to shave anything off to find an advantage. So I think that the cars are probably going to be a little bit more reliable, but you are right. The drivers are probably going to be the factor that make the mistake, especially at Bathurst. I think pushing around there and, they've increased co-driver laps. So when you can't do it in 2 stints anymore. Fuel tank size, which we'll go through some details, but you're looking at around 25 laps per stint, which only gets you to 50. This year, the minimum lap is 60.
Yeah.
So we've got to do at least 2 and 13 laps potentially if there's no safety car. If there's a safety car, you're likely as a co-driver in for 3 stints. So there will be at the back end of that 3rd stint some drivers fatigued. I personally don't think it's as hard as the Bend though. The Bend physically was I mean, maybe it's the new tyre, but I thought the load
the long corners
was quite high at the Bend. I thought physically it was a challenging track, and some of the co-drivers, I think Jamie he might have done 300 kilometres at the Bend, which might not sound like a lot to the listeners, but that's more than we would ever have done when we were full-time. I think we did one race at Sydney Motorsport Park that was 300, the rest are 250. So as a co-driver that sits on the sideline all year, even if you're racing regularly, sport category, you're only going to do a 40-minute race for time, which is probably 12 laps with safety cars.
Yeah, it doesn't work out to be much, I can tell you.
So it's a big ask. Physically it will be demanding, and we probably will see some mistakes. So, I mean, from a fan's perspective, I hope we see lots of safety cars.
A little bit of just in a long 10-day forecast here, there's a chance of rain too, which Obviously, if it is wet, there's a chance safety car chances go up, you'd imagine.
Yeah.
With mistakes and things like that. So really, I mean, we're still a week out, so we don't know yet. But if there is a bit of water, that always spices it up. I always enjoy when there's a stint or two where it's a little bit wet.
Yeah. I don't, I'll be honest.
Well, I'm on the couch. It's real easy to watch on the couch.
The very first time I ever did the shootout at Bathurst, I had never driven in the wet either. So I rolled out and the weather was kind of like what it's looking like this weekend, where it's sort of on the horizon all weekend. So it could come at any point. I qualified 5th or 6th, right? The first 4 went, and then it was my turn. As I've rolled up and sat at the end as a commercial break, and it absolutely pissed down. I had never driven Bathurst in the wet before. It was my first ever time in the shootout.
What a dampener.
Dude, oh.
Do you like that?
Yeah, it still took me a minute too. Yeah, anyway, I was so nervous, dude, coming down Conrod the first time, knowing like everyone's watching this, and you start your flying lap, and the first part of the lap's not too bad, you're feeling it out, but when you're coming down Conrod, it's a long way where you're like, is the chase even flat in the wet? Like, what do I do here? Where do I lift? Because you're not braking and feeling the grip. You're going into a corner which is flat in the dry, and you're like, okay, obviously I'm going to have to lift, but how much do I lift to not just...
And where? And
yeah, so that track is unique that you're going so fast into high-speed corners, you don't get an opportunity to really feel it out until you're in the middle of the corner and you're either in the wall or you come out the other side unscathed. So the wet there is definitely a variable that I think fans on the couch should be begging for. But we did have, I mean, one year we had the wet race there and we all thought it was going to be crazy. Remember that race went for 7 hours? I finished second. Reynolds won it.
That's when he started Luffy. I think it started wet.
That's right, yeah. Started the Coe and he brained him.
Yep.
That's right, he did too. He passed like 10 cars. He passed JC around the outside at turn 2. JC got out and we said, fucking hell, Perkat's quick. Because we were all running boost
there
cars.
About 8 boost cars on the grid, yeah.
Said, no, sorry, mate. That was Luffy that just rounded you up.
I do remember chatting to you about, like, oh, I think we're going to start Luffy. I'm like, well, he does spend all of his time sliding a car around, like, at the stunt school at Gold Coast. I'm like, he's probably not a bad guy with car control. And you're like, that's a good point. And he just did, like, this amazing stint.
He crushed it. He actually took us, I think I got in 5th. I reckon we qualified 20th.
20th, terribly. 21st, I think, yeah.
And I got in well in the top 10 and we trucked on to finish second. But the hardest part about that day, and this is one of the things that's tricky with Bathurst too, it does dry quite fast if it stops raining, but only the dry line. And then you end up with spots like under the tree, which is after the cutting you go through, which would be, say, turn 7 or something like that, is a right left. And because it's underneath the tree, it just doesn't dry. So on slick tyres, there's always parts of the track that just...
It's in the shade.
It can catch you out. So... Anyway, it's what makes it, I think, the best track in the world. It's my favourite. I've been to Spa and all these other places around the world, and I think Bathurst stacks up against any of them, and it's because of all the little characteristics about it. The weather, given the elevation, it can rain at the top and be dry at the bottom. You've got the tree, which obviously keeps it wet, dry lines. There's just so much that goes into it that makes it unique.
It's a long day, mate. It's a long day, and anything can happen, as we've seen over the years.
We want to give a shout-out as well, Lancaster Motor Group.
We do.
They got a giveaway. A KTM 450 dirt bike. So a very good giveaway. From now until the 23rd of December 2025, if you purchase $1,000 worth of accessories on a new or used vehicle on their 4x4 store or in their workshop, you'll go in the draw to win. The link will be in the description of this podcast as well, whether audio or video. I'll put it in the description of both of those. But that's a KTM 450 dirt bike. So massive thanks to Lancaster Motor Group.
If Hunter wins it, we'll go to a pub ride somewhere over Christmas. How does that sound?
That would be mega, actually. Let's do it. I'll get my bike back out.
So because it is on the 4x4 store online as well, it means it doesn't matter where you're located.
Yep.
You can buy some stuff and go into the draw. So you don't have to be local to Lancaster. Anywhere in Australia, get on the store, buy some gear. Come for a pub ride with Scott and I.
I actually like that. Yeah, if you do win it and you're a listener of our show, let us know and we'll do a pub ride at the end. My bike needs a good clean and...
it should be right, mate. Should be through.
Yeah, it's going to get dirty again anyway, isn't it really?
Exactly.
My old man would give me a clip under the ears if you heard me say that.
All right, let's dive into the format, mate. Talk us through that.
Yeah, there's about 18 hours of practice, so we should have our eye in by the time we get to the race.
Perfect.
But typical Bathurst, there is plenty of practice, so there's 60-minute sessions.
Do you know what? I'll interrupt. It's a place I don't mind watching practice for some reason. I get throughout the year at other tracks, I think it's a bit of a waste of time, but there's something about Bathurst and something about watching the build-up in pace. You know, I think it gives I know everyone goes out and pushes from lap 1, but the track evolves and I just
some push on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I enjoy watching especially the coeys. I really focus on the coeys, like how guys are travelling along.
Yep.
And so I don't mind it.
I thought you wouldn't have. I thought you would have hung shit on me then.
No, I was just,
You let me get away with that one. I opened the door for you. Just
I actually missed it.
did you? You
I'll
missed
be
it?
honest, I missed it.
Fuck.
It's too busy talking and listening.
Yeah, even Traymon in our chat has said some fence it on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was me. But it is. I'm not with you on that one. Like, there's a lot of practice, and it is good to get your eye in. But Bathurst,
You've done it a lot, though.
Once you've got your eye in, you're kind of like, okay, let's go to the race now, because there's never a lap around that place that
There's no risk.
there's no risk. And the Bend's a different one because there's a lot of runoff. But in general, motorsport, obviously, you're always at risk when you're driving the race car fast. But when you're at Bathurst, it's like the slightest mistake is at 200 kilometres an hour and you're in the fence.
Yeah, and to go fast at Bathurst, it's in the risky spots.
Always.
Like it's across the top and down the hill.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Well, I said to you when we were at the pub earlier tonight, we were talking about fuel saving. And I said, in a way, fuel saving at Bathurst kind of sucks because you have to make the time up somewhere. So to be able to save fuel, you've got to lift and coast, which means you're giving up lap time. But then to still be competitive, you're almost pushing more in other areas. And at Bathurst, that's across the top. So you're fuel saving down the bottom when you go into the chase or up into turn 2 or the last sector. And then across the top, you pretty much got your ass hanging out trying to make as much lap time as you can so that you can give it up at the bottom for fuel. So it is a place that in testing even, you're just like, I don't know, you go through the grate and you're always coming up out of there going, oh, God, you're like,
what are you doing?
Oh, I'm only doing that once. But, that you've been there. It's not a place you can have a comfortable lap because the moment you're under drive, you're just dog slow.
You're slow, yeah.
So
there is nothing like exiting the elbow and being like, we're good for one more lap.
Exactly,
Like you get out there and you're like, pluck gears. You're like, well, we survived that one. We'll see how we go next time.
100%. Even that one when we were just talking about before with Lounsey, he was so fast one year when he won. It was me, then Scotty Mack, and I think we went like 60 laps. Wasn't as fast as last year with Brock and Brodie. That was crazy. But this one, I remember just every time coming out the elbow, like you said, you'd be like, oh, thank God, because you'd pretty much hold your breath across the top.
That stint, I was in the sheds watching the monitor and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe these guys are banging out these times.
Yeah.
For like that whole stint, literally like you're within half a tenth of each other, just like dueling times each lap.
Yeah,
it was wild.
It was nuts. And that's what last year too, I'd say it might not have looked like an exciting race, but man, I can't underestimate how hard undersell how difficult that is from Brock and Brodie's position to be able to turn out those lap times
Perfectly.
and not make a mistake. But even in pre-brief today, Brock actually said, sometimes when you're fuel saving around there, it's easier to get in a crash. Under driving around there can equally suck you into making a mistake where you lose concentration.
Miss your points a bit because you're a bit relaxed.
And then sometimes you're pumping out quality laps for 80 laps like they did, and you're so tuned in that you're probably more unlikely to make the mistake and crash.
Definitely laser focus it's better to have a laser focus lap than a half cruising lap there, I reckon.
Exactly, yeah. But Thursday there's 2 60-minute practice sessions. P1 is for all drivers.
Great.
So it's likely that you'd see the co-drivers jump in at the end of that session just to get their eye in before P2, which is a co-driver only session.
Yep.
P1 is kind of, it's a bit of an odd one really. You're not focusing on car speed yet. You roll out to see what you've got. You'll probably get 3 runs in before you put the co-driver in. You still don't get a lot of running because the track length is so long.
Yeah.
And then, P2 is co-driver only. And at the end of P2, we get practice starts. That would likely be the only ones you'll do for the weekend because it's quite hard on the clutch, just given the tool diff ratio. So you split the clutch a lot. So you're not going to want to do that too many times.
Yep.
Interesting too, co-driver starting again. I think this one will be a lot harder than
it's an option,
Bend.
right? They don't have to. It's just an option again.
Yeah. But I think
most will.
It's always been most, actually. You do see the odd one, though. Like, if we qualified out of position, although we did at the Bend, but I think Will and I were relatively close in pace. But if you've got a coe that, you might start your main. Like, if you feel like you've got a lot on your co-driver and you feel like you qualified out of position, maybe we would still see main start.
Yeah. Sometimes, like that year when it was wet for you guys, you went against the grain. Everyone had their mains in when you put Luffy in.
Yeah.
So if it's wet, maybe you'll see potentially a different strategy be deployed. But
well, that was what was crazy, wasn't it? That, like you said, you might see it this year, the flipped of it where main start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, starting in the wet would be, as a coe, you'd be like, do I really have to? Especially if most were main starting.
I guess it depends on how much faith the teams have on their their coes. But I think you're still better off staying the coe because if it dries up, you want the main in when they can make as much pace.
Yeah, which is so from the flag home, I think it's 81 or 82.
Yep.
They can get home.
But in saying that, if you qualified not very well, and it might be an easy way to make some spots, get some track position.
Yeah,
For a stint. So I mean, we've seen both strategies in the past, and they've worked.
True.
So.
Yeah. Well, we've only made it to the end of practice 2 before we started talking strategy, so we're well ahead of the program.
Sorry, guys.
But a quick one in our chat. Tim Cohen, you might get a practice start now that there's no stupid FCY procedure to do in practice. That was one thing that was a shame, actually. Why we didn't do – so the practice sessions have all changed this year, or the practice test days, sorry, and QR was everyone in the category was there. Why – I know they changed it, but we didn't even do the current procedure at the time on the test day. Like we only get I think it was 40-minute sessions at the Bend, and we actually did waste like 10 minutes of those 40-minute sessions doing practice procedures and things. That is definitely like one problem. You've raised a good point there. We actually this weekend will hopefully have the full practice session for the co-drivers, and we shouldn't have to waste 10 minutes doing something that really should be done on a test day.
Yeah, and we brought it up at the Bend too. The lap time is kind of similar enough to Bathurst that it warrants 60-minute sessions, not 30.
Yep.
Because by the time you went out and in and did your stuff, you really got bugger all laps, and they had 30 or 40-minute sessions at the Bend. I can't remember now. But hopefully next year, because it's back there, they have the 60-minute sessions there because I think it needed that.
Yeah. Well, I think at the Bend, if you did a race run, you got about 13 laps in, then you'd come in and try and do your cameras or whatever setup you want to change for a quali sim at the end or a fast time at the end for the co. And that was all you got. So, like, you really didn't get many laps anyway because you are right. The track length there is long. Friday, you got another 2 60-minute practice sessions. The crazy thing for Bathurst is you actually qualify on Friday as well. So it's P3 and 4 for practice, which are all drivers. P3 will probably be my last opportunity to get many laps as a co-driver, I'd say.
Yeah,
most people come P4 are going to focus on go fast bits.
Quali, yep.
Yeah, because then, it is qualifying Friday afternoon.
How good is quali on a Friday arvo, man? It's at the right time of day where the track cools off, bit of cloud cover, it starts to get really fast. Yeah. There's 25 blokes out there just going absolutely, like you said before, when you leave the elbow, you go, oh, thank God. Yeah. Like they are just white knuckle.
Yep. And qualifying as well is 40 minutes long. So, we've seen at sprint rounds 10-minute qualifying sessions. This is 40 minutes. So you're going to get 3 sets of tyres with a roaded set. You may even see people throw 4 sets of tyres at it. If they went straight out on green, you're probably unlikely to see that because you want people they're going to want, although the cars are warm, they've been running all day, the track's rubbered up.
Straight in.
They might want 4 cracks at it, but fuel burn and stuff is worth a lot around Bathurst too. So regardless, you'll probably see 3 sets of tyres. And I remember always when you're the main guy, you do your first run, you're kind of trying to lay a banker, but like we said about Bathurst, even a banker, you're kind of nowhere. So it's almost pointless.
Just
you pretty much go out and try and push, and every time you come in the lane, you're trying to think about what you did wrong, what you could improve on, but at the same time then psych yourself up to go and do that again because every lap you do around there when you're on the edge is fucking ridiculously hard. It's you get out with the adrenaline shakes, that's for sure, but quality is probably the highlight of the weekend other than the shootout. I think the shootout's like everything builds towards that as well.
Yep.
Do you want to go through Saturday, mate?
Yeah, so Saturday, another 2 60-minute practice sessions. P5 is co-drivers only though, so you get an hour as the co-e only just to go and do what you need to do, get comfortable, a few last system checks.
I'd say that'd be possibly race runs, that one.
Yeah, so
there would be a lot of people
runs.
would be doing race runs.
Yep. Okay. Probably some ins and outs too. Do you do a bit of that during that?
Not so much because you'll practice your ins and outs in the earlier sessions when you're doing shorter runs.
Right.
I think last year we did P2 was a race run, but I think P5 you would expect most people will do race runs.
Yep.
So you're probably looking at some could do a 20 lap run.
Yep.
Around there.
That probably, okay. And then you got P6, all drivers, again, 60 minutes on the Saturday. So you probably see a bit of a mix of what's going on there.
Well, looking at it now, it is actually only really 2 co-driver only sessions.
Yep.
I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group have got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. It depends how much emphasis you want to put on qualifying as well, because really, historically, it didn't matter so much, but I think going by the last few years, you do need to qualify. If you don't qualify in the top 5, you don't really have any hope of winning the race, do you? Like, there hasn't been many cars outside top 5, I'd say, lately that have
won,
clawed themselves back. Like, I think Shane, he was 5th, I'm pretty sure, when he won it, and that was like the lowest.
Well, Mods that won it from last that year.
That's, mate, it's 12 years ago.
Yeah. I'm just going through.
Sort of with Gen 3, though. Like,
Yeah, I don't think so from winning it. I mean, there's been some people going on the podium from a fair way back, but winning it, yeah. It's generally, the last couple of years, definitely been, you get a trend on who the fastest car is, and if they don't have any mistakes in the race, it sort of stays that way.
Yep. Bush Mechanic Mayhem, I don't know who you're talking to there, but you mentioned the Win Cup in 2014 starting at the back and getting into the top 5 or something similar by the end of the first stint. I actually think he led by the end of the first stint, didn't he, that year?
Probably, freak.
He passed me down Conrod that year. I was like, how is that thing so fast? He passed me before the chase. Dude, he was flying.
Good exit off the elbow, mate.
That was the one. Yeah, must have been. That was that one where everyone thought he jumped the start because his start was so good. But yeah, unfortunately, I was one of the guys he passed that year. Hopefully that's not the case this year, but fuck, that was one of the best stints I reckon we've seen at the mountain was that 2014.
And finishing off Saturday, you touched on, mate, top 10 shootout, which will be good.
Yeah.
Sunday, You've got the 20-minute warm-up. Always a dangerous session. We've seen over the years things go wrong in the warm-up.
Yep.
So roll it around, keep it straight. And then the big dance, mate, 161 laps.
That's the big one, mate. And just, sorry, Bush has helped me out there. Dylan Newman had thrown in there that I hope some of the top cars qualify shit so that the strategy changes and makes the racing exciting. Otherwise, you have blokes that are too good and don't fuck up and smoke everyone. That's actually, Will Brown said that to me only the other day when I was up in Queensland. He was like, man, it's just like, it seems like no one's making mistakes in the main game at the moment. Like, especially
the top guys
top 10,
aren't. Yeah, they're just on another level at the moment.
You rarely see them lock a wheel and I don't know why that is, whether the cars...
Maybe they're not pushing.
Yeah, but it is like when at the bend, I was kind of surprised some people did run off because through the high-speed stuff, you couldn't really follow that close still. It's better than the old car for aero wash, but yeah, they're not making mistakes. So you're right. Like, we need to see some good cars qualify bad and come through. Hopefully it's not us again. Like,
the rain's going to sort us out for us hunters at home watching. The drizzle or rain midway through the race, that'll sort us out.
Fun one, top 10 shootout. Who you got for pole position? Chuck it in the comments and we'll have a crack at it as well.
Great question, Scott.
Actually qualifying first and top 10, because often that's different. Like,
the top 10 shootout versus qualifying.
Will is either qualified pole for top 10 or the qualifying, but not both.
I'm going to go Waters pole in qual, and then for the top 10 shootout, I'm going to go Feeney.
Not a bad shout. It's funny you pick Waters actually for quali, because I reckon Waters, where he really shines, is actually one lap.
One lap. I know, I went against my grain.
You gut?
No, I went against the grain.
Oh, the grain, yeah.
I said my grain, but the grain.
A few have thrown in here.
Bush, Quali Brock, pole Bush.
Am I saying this right? Lachlan? That'd have to be Lachlan, wouldn't it? Kostecki or Waters. You can't have both, otherwise I'll name the top 5. And
pick them, mate. You got to pick them.
Kate Cooper's thrown in Waters, Liam Kimball, Quali Brock, pole. So Quali Brock, and then pole in the shootout Bush.
Geez, Cam and Brock are going to be feeling pretty good after listening to this on the way.
Yeah, everyone's bootleg Champagne Puppy has said Feeney to break his Bathurst pole duck.
Feeney for both as Bush mechanic.
Will's been on pole before, but I'm not going to pick him and I'm not going to pick Brock either, because everyone's going to say I'm just picking a Red Bull car. I think Brodie.
For which?
For some reason, I don't want
both or which?
Oh, sorry, top 10 shootout Brodie.
Okay. Qualsesh,
Matt Payne.
Okay. Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's had a pole there, hasn't he, in qualifying?
I actually can't remember.
But I'll go Matt Payne. quality. No one said Matt Payne in there either. I'm the first one to say that one. So Payne for qualifying and Bush for Murphy for pole. Bush Mechanics thrown in there.
John Ridgway's gone Anton for qual and Waters for the top 10. That's not a bad shout. Anton's been stronger in the past.
That's not bad, actually. Woody could be a wild card. That is a good one. But there's a lot when you think about it, because you do have Will, Brock, Bush, Matty Payne, Ryan Wood, Chaz, Cam Waters. Like, we're at 7.
Trayman's put Davis in there. If the car's good, Will can turn it up there.
I reckon Davo's got the 1 lap speed at the moment. Yep. Sorry, Tom.
Different chassis, mate.
True. It's the one out of the museum.
Yep. It's got to be worth 3/10. If it rained, someone said Stanaway. That's a good shout. He put the wild card.
That's a real good shout. Before we go into the event-specific stuff, I reckon it'd be fun to just throw in some of the, mention to the chat here and everyone listening, some of the games, mate, you've played along. So I think now we've done the pick your top 10.
We've done the, so.
Because one thing we talked about, they probably don't push enough, supercars this is, to like build communities back home. If you're watching the race and you got your mates together.
Promote the barbecue, go to your mate's joint, sit in the shed or whatever in the backyard and watch it. And I do that when I'm not at the event. I do that, go around to a mate's joint. A few of us get there and we...
Nathan Pretty?
Yeah, he's got a great man cave and we go do that and we all love the sport. So, but we play some fun games. So when we get there, you all put your $10 in the bucket and then we have a whiteboard and you write down a few things. So there'll be things like you got to guess what lap the first pit stop's going to come on. You write it down. If there's going to be a crash, where it is and what lap that's going to be on, what part of the circuit. We do the fastest lap. We put the time down and the closest to the time wins that. We actually put all the names in a hat and then for the winner, you've got to draw that name out of a hat. So that's a bit of a lucky dip. You can't just go and pick the favourite. And then the number of safety cars. And the closest to all the points wins the pot of money. So that's a fun way
of quite a good one.
Staying engaged during the race. And then we would do it in safety cars, but last year there wasn't many. So in the ad breaks, we'd play darts and the lowest person would have a shot. That was a drinking game. So that's always a bit of fun too. So if you've got any games that you guys do when you're playing along or your bingo card or whatever it is.
Tag us in them, do some videos and tag us.
Tag us. We'd love to see them. It's great fun. But yeah, it needs to be promoted more, like that whole, there's nothing better than if you can't be at the event, go around to a mate's joint, watch it with some friends and family, have a couple of beers or whatever you drink and just enjoy it and play some games and enjoy the race because it is it's a real spectacle.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be cool if supercars would share people's posts back home. Like if people are tagging or hashtagging supercars or something like that and you build a bit more of like what are you doing back home and that's kind of what we want to do. So tag us in your posts and we can reshare them and stuff because I want to show that people are all over the country or wherever you are, New Zealand as well, and you're watching the race and enjoying it from the sidelines. All right, so Bathurst 1000, they've changed the co-driver lap requirement, which is the same as the Bend as well. They changed that. They increased the laps for us. They reduced testing, but they've increased the racing laps for the Coe. So it's 60-lap co-driver requirement now, which is 6 laps more than 2024, which means the co-drivers can't do minimum driving in 2 stints. Which actually I think is awesome.
That's great. That's such a good, well done, supercars.
And one cool thing about it too is your 3rd stint you'll have to do. If you did 23 to 26 laps in your 2 stints, whatever it might be, you're going to be left over with like 10 to 15 laps. So if a safety car was to come and you've just ticked off your minimum, the fuel that you're required to go in a car isn't going to be a massive amount. So your driver change is going to be under the pressure, which is cool. Like it's nerve-wracking when they say, okay, like you're pitting, we're going to take 14 seconds of fuel or something, and you know 14 is you've nearly nailed it. Like you couldn't do any better. But if it's 14 or 15 seconds of fuel, you're probably going to lose a second on driver change. So you just can't fuck it up. And I love that. I think it's awesome because that's when you see like some position changes. Some people will fumble it and really blow out maybe a 25-second stop. So yeah, I kind of hope that 3rd stint there's a safety car somewhere in the middle. Where that lands for people could be anywhere. Like if you start the main, you're going to be a lot later in the race. If you went co, main, co, it'll be at a different point to someone that did co, main, co. Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, If you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show.
And the safety car rules reverted back to the old rule now too, so that'll be a good point of difference to what
You can explain it to me.
Well,
it's good. Credit to supercars for doing this.
Yeah, so there's now no full course yellow speed limiter.
They actually do still have, sorry to jump in, but they do still have the ability to use the FCY.
Request it if needed.
So if there's like perfect example would have been at Queensland Raceway when there was an oil bottle in practice or something that fell out of the front of one of the cars.
Yeah.
They should have just done the FCY, everyone pressed the 80K, neutralised the track so that someone could have ran onto the track and then you wouldn't have lost the time in the practice session. So hopefully during practice, if things like that happen, like the wheel that come off that car, I think it was Cameron Waters, that would have been the perfect example.
Darwin,
No, Bathurst.
Oh, really talking about Bathurst? Yeah, okay.
Immediately press it. So in the race, maybe they'll use it. But yeah, press on. Sorry, I just wanted to say that it is still actually going to be a thing. But
it's an option.
Yeah.
But hopefully they don't use it. Must obey double yellow flags and significantly in that zone reduce your speed from normal racing speed. So they're saying half, but it's a bit of a grey area. What is half?
Yeah. Well, that's the only negative I see at the moment. I'm very much like whoever was behind it, good job for changing it because it takes balls. I know some of the comments as well were saying like, why do we see so many changes mid-season and stuff? But I'm like, if something needs changing, change it. And
awesome.
And it was pretty clear that it was not going to work. But the grey area is definitely a big grey area. Like it says half speed of normal racing speed. I don't know as a driver how to tell what is half speed. Like what they're trying to say, I guess, is you need to significantly reduce your speed in the double wave yellow so that you don't put someone at danger, and they're going to enforce it. I think the rules or the penalties will be harsh.
Good.
But I would love it if in the driver's briefing or something they gave us something that we can quantify, whether that's like in the micro sector where there's double yellow, you have to lose a minimum of 3 seconds. That would be easy because we all have a time on our dash and we can see to a reference, time gain or loss. There's got to be a number, and it's like it's a minimum of that because I'm a bit confused what half speed will be, because is that half speed in time as well across the micro sector? Is it half speed? But then also I don't know what my max speed is. I don't drive around and through the middle of the grate know what my minimum speed is to then halve that. Yeah. Obviously half is pretty fucking obvious. If it's 100, it's 50. We get that. But I don't really know if it's half speed, half time. And if it's half speed, I don't know what my minimum speed is at that point in the track exactly anyway. How long do I have to hold that half speed for? There's just a few.
Something that's quantifiable and easy on the fly to work out behind the wheel.
Yeah. But either way, that's heaps safer still. I feel like there's just probably going to be a grey area where a judge of fact might creep in.
Yeah.
But I would much rather, that be on the drivers to give up more than necessary sometimes. But at least we're not jamming the brake on in the middle of the racetrack and causing a pile up.
Yeah.
And we can decel, we can slow down gradually and give up the time that we need.
Yep.
Brownies put in their half throttle.
Yeah. They're going on the throttle sensor, mate, throttle position sensor.
Yeah. What if the corner's 38% throttle minimum anyway?
Yeah.
Then what do I do?
50% throttle across the top of the mount, you're still doing 200 anyway, probably. So
for a lot of it, you are at 50% throttle.
Yeah.
Garen Batten, fuck it, drive hard, dodge the tow trucks like the 80s. No, I'm not serious.
Yeah.
That is, you watch the old classic footage. I can't believe how they'd run out there and pick something off the track and dodge cars, and they'd have a tilt tray like when the Rock hit, when Dick hit that, and there was a tilt tray just on the exit of the cutting there.
We had it Tassie.
Still flying by.
Was it Tassie at the start of this year, or maybe it was last year's race? One of them, I'm just rolling down through the back sweeper, like pinned, and there was a tow truck just rolling out there.
Far out.
And we're like, okay, no flags, nothing, cool.
Yeah, right. Safety car chance is actually getting lower and lower.
You reckon?
Well, I always find these things hard because they're based off like so much data of the event, but every year the cars get better. I think the drivers even get better because you look at how hard the entry to supercars is now. A lot of the co-drivers have done 4 or 5 years of Super 2. You know what I mean? It wasn't like years ago, even when we'd have the two main guys paired together, the second car often gave an opportunity to a young up-and-comer, or you'd have two young up-and-comers, whereas now the guys that are trying to get in the main game are trying for years, so they're actually really experienced. So I think every year we go to Bathurst, we complain about the race being boring, but the quality is what's, I think, getting better. So I don't really look at the safety car risk anymore when it comes to this event. I think you've just got to take it case by case.
Yep. Last year was a bit of a snoozer, and
I think it was lap 120, 130 when we had the first safety car.
Yeah, it was rare. We hadn't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
So
it still does say that in any 50 lap window, there's an 85% chance of a safety car, which sounds really high. But like, how do you go to 130 last year without one? And then I think we only got one. And then there was one year where we didn't get one. It was drizzling and they had the spin off the start. Do you remember when JDub had the...
Yeah.
But there was no caution.
Yeah.
And then there was like fucking 7 in the last 60 laps. And they were all main guys.
Yeah, as
so it is a hard to predict one.
As I say, the historical data is fueling this, and last year was an anomaly. Yeah.
2024, I thought I would put those notes in there just to briefly run over who was fast. I mean, it was pretty much dominated by Brodie, really.
He was just on...
Well, and Todd, sorry, not to...
Yeah, he was on another... But even qualifying, like he was just on all weekend. That car was just on, wasn't it?
Yep.
Didn't matter who was in it. It was just on.
Exactly, yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm not saying that to take that away from those guys. I'm just saying, but whether it was Brodie or Todd in the car, they were both fine. Just on. Yeah. So Brodie threw down a 205.5 for pole and qual. And it was tight, man, wasn't it? Like Cam Waters was second, 205.6.
That's actually top 10 times too, shootout.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, okay, cool. So 10th and a bit in that. So that's, for that being a shootout, that's tight. Brock was a 205.8. Then you had Richie Stanaway 4th, 205.9. And then you had Will Brown 5th with a 206.1. So very tight. Realistically, as you say, for a top 10 shootout, that's just one lap.
Yeah, yep.
So that's a bit of a gauge for you if you're putting a punt on what you think the quality time is going to be this year. Be something around that, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Good question here. Why do you think Todd hasn't been offered a drive after all his accomplishments this year? What do you think?
I think he's probably not that he hasn't been offered. I think he's probably in a similar situation to you, mate, where he's now in a place where he's getting success and he probably doesn't want to go back to potentially driving a car full-time that doesn't have the chance of having that success. So he'd probably rather be on the podium 2 or 3 times a year versus 10th or 15th, 14 times. You know, which is very similar, I think, to why you're staying. It's not like you haven't had offers, but you just probably prefer to stay with the best team and win races.
Yeah. And that's I think he's at that point in his career where he's probably not going to get, I mean, he may get an opportunity. Like I've even thought about Shell, like why that hasn't eventuated. But I still think as well, there's one lap speed that some people like to, I don't know, like it's hard to get people to have the confidence and the faith in you again that you could deliver in a good car. And I honestly think a lot of people in good teams underestimate how good their cars are. Like everyone, I mean, even team managers don't realize, like how many good team managers do you see go to a bad team or a smaller team and say, I'm going to fix it because it's me. And then realize, it was all the 1%ers we were doing well at the bigger teams or whatever that we're getting the success with. So yeah, I think if Todd was to go to like a smaller team, you can't drag it to the front. But maybe if he was to pop up in the Shell thing, he would be close, but you're still going to see you're still going to see a bit of a gap, I think, to say a Brodie. Yeah,
and I think he's probably in a great spot with his career. He's doing well in the co-driving stuff, but he's also doing plenty of racing and other things. Like he won World Time Attack this year. He's getting plenty of opportunities to do other racing.
Yeah, for sure.
He's doing the Trans Am and all this other stuff. So he's probably, I would imagine it would have to be a top 2 team to sway him.
The one thing I did want to say this after, it's slightly controversial, might upset some people in the comments that just keep demanding that young drivers replace the older ones. Through the field, everyone I passed, the only one I got to that I was like, fuck, this, well, actually Garth was, of course, I got to him and he's Garth Tander, so he's, you know straight away it's him. But Slady was one that I was like, as soon as I got to him, I could tell this was no longer a young guy anymore. Yeah. All the young guys you could get past and it wasn't too bad. You kind of get to them. They race the corner they're in, they then make a mistake, you pass them the next one. Yeah. And they weren't like lights out. You get to someone that's experienced. And I was actually thinking after I was chatting to someone on the phone, I told him, it is literally now just their age. If you say Slady, who did a great job at the Bend, if he was 23, oh my God, sign that guy up. Like it would be, oh, he's the fucking superstar. But it's funny that it's actually the only prerequisite at the moment for someone to talk about you is your age.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Even if you're quite average in the field in the Bend, as long as you were young, like it didn't matter. Like you could have one shit stint and just do one job, one stint half okay. As long as you were young, people were like, oh, I'll take a punt on that guy. But someone that was like older that had been in shit cars quite a lot, they're like, not even mentioned. And you're like, well, hang on, he's braining like all the young guys.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job, but like it's funny, it's just the age. And of course, like Slady's not someone, he has no interest anymore in going full time.
Yeah.
I just thought it's funny off the back of it. The conversation is still always around the young ones. And I get that because, you know, there's a long career prospect. You hope that you can train them up and everything. But if you're in the comments saying, replace them this weekend because that young kid will be better, it won't. It will be two or 3 years. You need a team that will put in a success, like a plan in place and back a kid for 3 years, not a 1 year deal, which is what most of them get. They actually get given 12 months and you either sink or swim, then their career's done. Everyone says they sucked. So if you're going to put a young guy in, except it will take a few years, you're not going to just towel up the older guys.
The only way it works, well, not the only way, but most of the time the only way that works is like in Brock's instance where he jumped straight into Triple Eight, or Matty Payne where he jumped straight into Groves, good fast cars, or Ryan Wood, Walkinshaw.
Yeah.
Like, as you say, there's the odd cases where it works, but if you're not one of those top 3-4 teams, you're probably better off having an old head that can drive a shitbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than putting a young kid in that can't just smash his confidence and potentially ruin his career.
Yeah, yeah. It was an interesting thought after the Bend. But anyway, we'll see some young kids make the championship, you know, come in next year hopefully. And
some freshies too. So I think when it comes to just back to the safety car stuff, there are some newbies. So that'll be interesting too. Like there's more rookies, I think, this year on the grid than there ever has been in the Great Race. So that may throw a spanner among the works too.
Exactly. So the race last year, obviously, I mean, the last stint was one of the, not the last stint, but the last like 60 laps or 50 laps was probably one of the most impressive 50 laps I've seen at the mountain between Brock and Brodie. So they were first and second. Obviously, Brodie and Todd got the win. Yes. And then myself and Will came third, just behind JDub and Brock. Waters, who was with Moffat last year, was fourth. So Waters is now with Frosty. So I think they're going to be a smoky. And this is actually one that someone asked this question on our socials, and I didn't know the answer to it. So I wanted to ask tonight to everyone listening if there's someone in our live stream that knows. But what happens if, so there's 25 points up for grabs for the Enduro Cup. What happens if Frosty and Cam win Bathurst and Brodie and Todd come second and they finish on equal points for the Enduro Cup?
Does it then revert to the last race, like how that stuff works in other championships? I don't know. Yeah, I'm just spitballing.
I thought the same, but I'm like, I don't know. And then someone said, like, and then in the comments they asked, is it like split points? Does it?
Sure, you give it to the blokes that win the 1,000 because it's double the distance.
Oh, Brownie has the answer.
Here we go, Brownie. Talk to us. Scissors, paper, rock. I love it.
Honestly, it is. So if you have the answer to that one, because I don't know what happens if it's a draw for the Enduro Cup.
Yeah, egg and spoon race. Benny 34's putting there.
Take it to Gold Coast and make it an Enduro, Tim Cohen. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, go for it.
That could be the first flaw in just having two events, not
and
three.
And that could be a chance of happening too, like with those cars. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, you know, Cam came fourth last year. So maybe we do need a decider. We need an overtime for another round. Then it was Mostert and Holdsworth. Mostert is with
Fabs
this year. Yep. Golding and Russell came sixth last year. They were off the back of a podium at Sandown.
Yep.
So they were in good form. This year hasn't been as good for them, but then it was Di Pasquale was seventh with D'Alberto. He was at DJR, so he's maybe a shout. Someone popped in there before. He might have pole up his sleeve, so maybe.
Yep.
Then it was LeBrock and Ojeda. I do remember Ojeda last year actually being very quick in his stint. So he was behind me for quite a bit, but I think he got unlucky with a safety car ending. So that was when we had the 80K thing, and I think he was in the pit lane.
Right.
And it ended, and he lost a few spots because it was the same time we nearly lost third to Cam.
Right.
So we had like a 18-second lead, and then we come out only just in front of Cam. So not lead, third over fourth.
Yeah.
And then Richie and Dale Wood were 9. Who was 10th there, mate? Who we got? Cam Hill
and Cricky, that's right. That was Cam Shaft's first go up the mountain, and he had a top 10, so that was pretty cool.
That's a mega one. The evolution, I actually put this in because I thought this is always a crazy one.
Yeah, this was good.
Because you're never really on flog tyres either at Bathurst. But I just thought, just for food for thought, you got 2:07.29 was the fastest lap in practice 1, and a 2:05.5 was the fastest qualifying time on Saturday.
It's a 2 second, pretty much.
Yeah, so it's just nothing really in that. It's just that shows how much faster we're going. Like 2 seconds over a weekend is...
Bit of rubber goes down. And
because it is a street circuit.
Bit more, bit of rubber, bit more courage, away you go.
Exactly.
AI predictions, here it is.
Yeah. So AI predictions, Kostecki and Hazelwood for the win, Brown and Pye for second, Feeney and Whincup for third. So it's actually nearly the same podium as last year, it's predicted. So
it's cheated.
It's not really done anything too spectacular. Then Mostert, Coulthard, Payne, Tander, then Waters and Winterbottom. I would put them higher, but anyway. Percat and Slade, then Heimgartner and Fraser, Reynolds and Holdsworth.
That's a smoky, the Heimgartner Fraser. Like, I'm just wondering how it's picked this, because if it's going off the bend, they had a shocker at the bend. They had damage and were like laps down.
Yeah.
So that's...
And then it's put in the wild card for 10th place with Lowndes and Batesy. Thoughts as well to Zach and his family. His mum passed away this week. So condolences, mate. So hopefully, you guys are all doing all right. Good luck for Bathurst. But I think that they're not a bad smoky. I would nearly say 10th. I think they could do better.
I would have them.
Like, I actually think they're like a 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I'd have them potentially, if their day goes well and goes to plan, higher than that. For sure. So it's third Triple Eight car.
Yeah, it is. Every time I ask ChatGPT, it never gives me any good ratings. Maybe, like, statistically, I'm probably just shit. But because that's what...
It's just historical data, mate. That's what the internet says.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't do it based on emotion or what they think of me. Fuck, I feel terrible now. Anyway, move on.
It's really hurt your feelings.
It's been great for my confidence. But I said to ChatGPT, I said, give me your top 10 predictions for Bathurst 1000, and it never put Brown or Pye in the top 10. And I wrote back, like, why do you not think they'll be in the top 10? And it said, because Erebus's performance has dropped off recently and they're not really contending with Tickford and Triple Eight this year. I was like, hang on a minute. So do you think Brown is still driving at Erebus? And it said yes. So anyway, I said, well, it's not true. Brown's at Triple Eight, and so Scott Pye, can you please redo that top 10?
Yeah.
And then it put me second. So I was like, okay, that's better.
Yeah.
Still not first.
You led the witness there.
Yeah. Anyway.
Podium. Who do I think, mate? Can I say Triple Eight cars?
I think...
Or you want to leave them out?
Well, like, I'm going to pick myself and Brown for Pye. So I'm not going to
leave
myself.
Them out.
Yeah, Brown.
Let's leave them out.
So let's leave them out, I think.
Leave them out. I'm going to go to win. I've got Cam and Frosty.
That'd be a popular one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I've got Todd and Brodie second. Remember, I'm leaving Triple Eight out of the podium. And then I'm going to go Payne Tander.
Sorry, what was your 3 again? I was reading the comment. You got
I've got
Waters and Frosty. Who was second?
Frosty, Brodie and Todd, and then Payne and Tander. So 3 Fords again. I picked that at the Bend, 3 Fords.
Yeah.
Actually, someone's asked. Tim Cohen's asked about the wild card that I got mentioned as. Yes, it was going to happen. It's not fake news, but it got turned down. So,
yeah. Disappointing. Maybe in the future we'll see you on the grid there, though.
I'm having a red hot crack to be there next year, so we'll see what happens.
Hopefully we can get some support and I can be banging doors with you next year.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That'd be pretty cool.
Just take a pass on in the last corner, last lap for the lead. That'd be ace. Just slide it up on you. Bang.
What's happened to our main guys?
We're the mains.
We've both just given them food poisoning or something.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, my predictions.
Yeah, what do you got?
I hate to say it because they Kostecki and Hazelwood.
Imagine if they went back to back. That'd be big.
I don't want to imagine it.
No, but
this hurts me saying.
Sorry,
really,
I forget you're racing in a week's time, mate.
I actually find choosing a top 3 predictions quite a difficult thing to do. Like to say someone else,
talk someone else up.
I'm finding
very hard for you.
So I'm doing my very best here to but fuck all those guys. Anyway, Kostecki, Hazelwood. I actually think as well of Frosty and Waters for P2. I feel bad. Like I feel bad not putting Waters up there, but I just can't see Tickford and Waters winning.
So what do you got them second?
And then you've got Payne Tander third, don't you? I'm going to go Percat and Slade third.
That was who I was.
Was it? Yeah, I'm sure it was.
That was. I think and Percat's history at the mountain's quite good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, that is
That's the
Bathurst preview. That was efficient tonight. I feel like hopefully we've given you some information. If you have any questions about the event, let us know because we've actually also got.
I've learnt something, mate.
Have you?
I feel like I've learnt something. That was great. Well done.
It's probably a low bar for us.
No, thanks, mate.
But yeah, appreciate everyone joining in. We've got Tom Moore as well putting in some information to our Patreon members. One of the engineers at DJR and Shell V-Power Racing.
So that's a new addition.
Yeah.
So another reason, if you're not a Patreon member, sign up.
Yeah.
We've now got an engineer feeding us information.
Exactly.
Direct to the Hunters hotline.
So if you have questions, that's what I was going to say though, pop them in the comments. Or if you're already a member, let us know in Patreon what you're after, what you want to know ahead of Bathurst that us peanuts haven't told you or didn't find out for you. One we need to find out is actually about the points, how that even works. That's not a bad start for us to find out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Someone did put in, that comment's gone now, but it was saying that that's where if it was 3 Enduros, that solves that problem for them.
It would.
The likelihood of that stuff happening. Maybe they haven't thought about it because it's always been 3, other than last year. But yeah, they didn't have this. Wasn't the official Enduro Cup?
It wasn't. No, and
so,
Will and I won it last year.
Yes,
it wasn't actually a thing. It was just.
So this is the first probably time they've had to think about it, where it's been 2 events, not 3.
Yeah. Bush Mechanic, he said, did you just get sick of me asking technical questions? No, I actually just had to keep asking Andrew Edwards or Tom in our chat anyway. That was, it's not us that sound smart when we reply to your comments with answers about technical shit.
No, definitely not engineers, either of us. That's for sure.
No. All right. Good night, everyone, and hope you enjoy the Bathurst 1000.
Scotty, good luck, mate. We'll all be rooting for you, no doubt.
Thanks,
all
sir.
the best.
Cheers.